Mirabelle Wieland is an individual known on YouTube as WielandMedia or by their former name CWK Enterprises. This is an individual who I used to be friends with and defended on various occasions years ago. However, with recent events I have grown to detest her and I'll be explaining why. Full disclosure, this video is unscripted and is not something I really wanted to make. However, she is the one who decided to speak publicly first, so now I must retort. Also, please do not go out of your way to harass her. This is about my personal opinion and not yours. My first interactions with Wieland date back to January 1st of 2020, in which she expressed interest in joining what was, at the time, my fictional company, JP Corporation. She would join the same day, and would leave a couple of times between 2020 and 2021. However, by the time JP Corporation closed and I was exiled from YouTube on November 11th of 2021, she was a member of it. 11 days later, on November 22nd, 2021, Mirabelle Wieland would create the J Productions Legacy account, at the time known as J Productions Archive. It originally had 3 founding members: Mirabelle, the creator, Ray Martinez, known on the internet as Focus Corner, and Beatrice Rodriguez, known on the internet as Patchy. Patchy would leave of her own accord at the start of 2023, although the date is unknown. This will be the only time she is mentioned in this video. In late 2023, after a series of management choices that I did not approve of, Mirabelle and I mutually agreed for her to turn over the channel to Focus Corner, who would be the sole owner until February 10th, 2024, when I gained access to it myself. The first issue I ran into with her was her abuse of the YouTube takedown system. In late 2021 and early 2022, it was not uncommon for logo kids to want to revive the It's Not Scary series, of course without my permission. Although I do still claim ownership of It's Not Scary, and do not authorize any reboots, remakes, re-uploads, or spin-offs, I cannot legally copyright take down a kid making their own version of it. It's not my content, therefore it's out of my hands. Mirabelle Wieland, however, does not seem to understand the concept of copyright infringement, and threatened outright to copyright strike anyone who attempted to revive INS.
Videos owned by Computer Whiz Media Group, my real company, for preservation. Any copying of the series is prohibited, and any violation will result in a copyright strike to the offender's YouTube account.
Even knowing, A, she was not the original creator and has no ability to do this, B, the original It's Not Scary is long since gone from YouTube and could not be copyrighted even if re-uploaded, and C, once again, that's literally not how the copyright system works. If it's their original voice, they cannot claim it. Because these copyright claims inherently involve my content, this also could have gotten me into trouble and get the J Productions Archive account terminated, which would be a bad outcome for everyone involved. However, this is not the only way that she abuses the takedown system. She will issue harassment and bullying takedowns to any video or livestream criticizing her and her teammates. This is an inherent abuse of the takedown system, and to be quite honest, I expect her to issue a takedown on this video. Therefore, you have my permission to re-upload it as necessary. Wieland also likes to edit videos away from the way they were originally made by me. This includes something simple like adding a J Productions Archive channel to the beginning, which I did not ask for, or the most egregious incident of this, when she re-uploaded the complete J Productions logo/ident history. My original upload of this in 2022 had no intro at the beginning and had a silent ending. However, she added an intro and added music to the ending, inherently altering the video from its original state. This was actually the final straw that made me want her to leave. However, outside of borderline fraudulent takedowns and tampering with videos, the biggest reason was her association with these two individuals, Daniel Lyons and Darren Nichols. Whether or not these two are actually pedophiles is not my distinction to make, and I am aware that the other side claims that this evidence has been doctored. However, even if it has been doctored, it literally does not matter. These two are horrible people in their own rights, whether or not they did abuse minors. I won't spend too much time on this matter. In fact, they have an entire Kiwi Farms thread dedicated to them. However, I will play this clip and it should be enough to tell you what we are dealing with here.
Hey! No! Fucking take my headphones off! No! No! No!
All of this culminated in this conversation on screen, in which we mutually agreed for her to turn over the channel to Focus Corner. You'll see here that she has her own reasoning, education, and her job getting in the way of running this channel. A perfectly valid reason for her to not want to work on it anymore. This, combined with my own discrepancies, led to her departing. There was no public mention of this departure on the channel until 2024 when I made the following message, which I will read verbatim. Minor PSA. The J Productions archive, for a while now, has cut all ties with the creator and former manager, CWK Enterprises, Mirabelle Wieland, due to their questionable associations with other users. I would like to make this abundantly clear because I am aware of the controversy surrounding CWK and have already distanced myself from them as a result. CWK does not manage this channel anymore and will not be returning due to the above reason as well as poor management decisions, re-editing videos instead of uploading the originals, issuing fraudulent copyright claims, etc. J Productions Archive does not associate with CWK. They have been out of the channel for months already before I joined, and while I thank them for their service, all operations will continue normally without any of their involvement. You could make an argument that I did not have to post this publicly, however, the reason I did is because Wieland has a bunch of controversy surrounding her already, controversy that I want no part of and do not defend. I then reinforced this message on the It's Not Scary re-upload on September 27th, 2024. The credits of this video have 3 individual disclaimers, the first of which being an obligatory fair use disclaimer. The second one reads verbatim, "Despite their appearances, Cameron Longery and Mirabelle Wieland have been cut from association due to each of their questionable behaviors. These 2 people are not to be contacted nor connected to the INS series." For those of you who do not know, Cameron Longery is the real name of CCG Films, a former logo YouTuber who is now known for grooming a minor. The only reason I had to reinforce Wieland here is because she appeared in episode 20 of INS, that being MGM Tanner. If she was not in this episode, this disclaimer would not be here. Wieland would not make any response to these claims for a while, until she would post a video titled "Let's Talk About This." In this video, she showed a scroll of my announcement, and then claimed in the description, which is now unfortunately lost, that she had her own side of the story and did not respect the people running J Productions' legacy anymore. This struck me as extremely off for many reasons. First of all, it was a mutual departure, as once again these screenshots prove, and secondly, what other side? What she did is objective, and there are witnesses to prove that she was not a good manager to the channel. My leading theory is that she was upset that I do not like Darren Nichols and Dan Lyons, which is a very petty reason to be upset. It's completely within your right to be friends with these creeps. However, I want no part of it and will not defend you for doing so. It seems that she did eventually realize how petty she was being, as she then took down this video and issued the following apology on her community page. I appreciate the sentiment, but I really don't understand why you felt the need to address this at all. The third disclaimer on the INS video, which we will come back to, is the following. It's Not Scary, J Productions, and all other associated names, graphics, and content are all strictly prohibited from external use without the permission of Jaden Sosa, that's my name. Any unauthorized use, such as a reboot, will warrant penalization. This statement will come back shortly. I figured that this would be the end of things until April 10th, 2025, when Wieland went on livestream and made the following statement.
I think I got a series that I want to start on the channel. We'll see how that goes. It's going to be similar to a series that I used to help somebody out with, but as of recently, I found out by looking at the end of his video on his series that he basically wanted everybody to forget that I even helped him. So I'm not going to name any names, but this person knows who I'm talking about.
She claims to be working on a new series that is similar to a series that she, quote, helped somebody out with. If not obvious already, she is referring to It's Not Scary. First of all, disclaimer number 3 clearly states that you cannot do this without my permission. There is no excuse for you not knowing because you clearly did read the second disclaimer, which is what you refer to in this clip. The second issue is that, no, you did not help me with It's Not Scary. You appeared in 1 episode, and that is the extent of your contribution. INS was almost entirely produced by myself only. Yes, CWK Enterprises did appear as a distribution credit, but that does not mean that you helped. Do not claim that you assisted in production when you did not. Also, of course, this is not what the disclaimer is actually saying. It requests the viewers to not contact or connect the 2 users to the INS series, not that the 2 users had 0 involvement. I included your episode in the compilation, showcasing that I am not afraid to broadcast content where I work with people who I do not approve of anymore. I even included CCG's episodes of INS, further cementing this idea. The decision to make a series similar to INS is clearly one either out of malice, pettiness, or ignorance. I cannot for certain claim which one it is. However, she did not back down, as on May 11th, 2025, she would post the following update video where she further proved that this is going to happen.
I will be starting a new series on my channel. I didn't really say what it was when I mentioned I was doing a new series on my live stream, but the new series is gonna be Scare Scale, I think is the name I'm gonna give to it, or something like that. Basically, it's gonna be similar to It's Not Scary by J Productions, but instead of like giving it the scary verdict, I'm basically gonna rate it on a scale of 0 to 10, with 0 being not scary at all and 10 being, like very scary.
She gives the series a title known as Scare Scale, which is quite obviously a parody of INS. As I've read before, Disclaimer 3 does not allow you to do this. However, as I actually understand and respect copyright law, I know that I cannot take down your videos. The true icing on the cake to this story, however, and the one that made me want to announce this publicly, is the following comment section exchange between the user AllPros and Wieland herself. That sounds like my cancelled series, Why Is It Scary? It's similar, but a little different than that or It's Not Scary. My series was cancelled was like It's Not Scary, but I ranked the logo by music animation and the logo overall to add up if it's scary or not, essentially similar to my logo reviews. Why Is It Scary never got a proper series finale, which I wanted it to be THX. Ironically, that is the series that got me originally kicked out of the Computer Whiz Kid because I tried bringing it back. Yeah, sorry about that. If you want to reboot the series, you're more than welcome to. I read those comments exactly as they are written, so do mind the grammar mistakes. AllPros, as you can imagine, is a logo kid who attempted to revive INS at the end of 2022 and start of 2023 with a series called Why Is It Scary? This revival was not permitted, of course, neither by me nor Wieland, and she actually issued real copyright takedowns to AllPros. As I've already went over, this is borderline fraudulent. The most ironic part of this, however, is that while Why Is It Scary was being produced, AllPros was a division of CWK Enterprises. Call it friendly fire, call it hypocrisy, call it whatever you would like, but this just makes the entire series of events even more funny than it already was. Here we have Wieland giving permission to AllPros to revive the INS ripoff, which she does not have any ability to do. Once again, read disclaimer number 3. Your name is not Jaden Sosa, and therefore you have no rights to authorize this revival. You would think that somebody who is dead set on issuing copyright strikes to anyone who tried to revive INS would not then go around and revive INS herself. But this is unfortunately the world we live in. I apologize if this video seemed unorganized or too long, but once again it is unscripted. We have now caught up with everything, and I can end it here. Once again, I restate, do not go and harass Wieland because of this video. That is not my goal, and my goal is to simply put this information out there and hopefully stop the production of Scare Scale from going forward. To Mirabelle Wieland herself, I would like to say that you know what you're doing is wrong. You've clearly read the disclaimers, so it would be in your best interest to follow them and not make Scare Scale. It would also be in your best interest not to issue a takedown for harassment and bullying, as that would further cement my point that you abuse the takedown system. Whatever you plan to make now, I wish you the best. However, I humbly request that you keep my name out of your mouth for the foreseeable future. I have nothing to do with you anymore, and want no part in your content, including Scare Scale, which once again, you should not be making at all. For everyone else, I apologize that this video had to be made, and especially on this channel, but it has come to a point where I have no other choice. Thank you for listening, and until then.